Hello everyone, today we are going to explore what the world might be like if the internet was never created. I do have some interesting concepts prepared that you might find interesting. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. First, what would be the reason why the internet doesn't exist in the first place? Well, there's a few ways that this can go. Perhaps the person that created it was never born, or no one just thought of it. Just because the internet doesn't exist doesn't mean we would never have coronavirus. We would not be able to play online games with your friends during this hard time, or use your phone for YouTube. In fact, you might not even have a modern touchscreen phone in the first place. The Apple iPhone popularized touchscreen phones. A huge reason for that was the App Store. Without the App Store, which uses the internet, the iPhone trend might have died down, and the BlackBerry CEO would have been right about the iPhone, as shown in this clip.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. Now, it may sell very well or not. We have our strategy. We've got great Windows mobile devices in the market today. You can get a Motorola Q phone now for $99. It's a very capable machine. It'll do music. It'll do internet. It'll do email. It'll do instant messaging. So I kind of look at that and I say, well, I like our strategy. I like it a lot.
So therefore, we would most likely see touchscreens remain as a gimmick for tech enthusiasts. Everyday people would most likely still be using phones with keyboards, though they, unlike modern day smartphones, would have an okay camera system and not replace things like camcorders, cameras, and MP3 players, which are not phones. In the case of desktop and laptop PCs, they would probably still exist, but with a lot more limited functionality than the computers we all know and love today. Therefore, services that main functionality requires the internet would most likely not be created at all. Things like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, calculator, offline video games, among other things would still exist, but would require a physical visit to a store to purchase the software. Also, non-internet based communication would also still exist, like calling someone or even email. An app like Discord could still make its appearance, but maybe more as a texting app. On more ideas, Blockbuster would probably still exist, and perhaps YouTube might have created a non-internet version by allowing people to make homemade videos and bringing them to a physical store. So maybe YouTubers would still exist, but maybe not even by that name. Maybe a different company would create it. Netflix would most likely still be sending out movies to watch at home, however, on more modern technologies than the DVD, such as thumb drives, or maybe for a more expensive option, a solid state drive or SSD. For the homemade videos, people might make helpful tutorials just at home, then be handed into a moderator of some kind, maybe at this theoretical YouTube we were talking about earlier. If the video was high quality enough, they would put it up and make a shop of sorts for tutorials, with examples perhaps saved on a huge database. They would just cost maybe a few cents, and some profit would go to the creator. Since these videos would be hard copy, they would be quite easy to track, so an archive of every video ever created could be made. This would most likely be owned by the government, but could also be owned by a non-profit, such as a variant of the modern Wayback Machine. With platforms such as Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, Facebook, otherwise known as Meta, people are just toxic. With information and emotions being spread around comes the existence of cancel culture and mass spread propaganda. Let's compare the general community of the world in the 90s to now. People had their opinions, people were solving problems about human rights. And then now, you can see people using slogans like kill all men. People saying things like, you're racist because you disagreed with my opinion. And white supremacist groups are getting even bigger now. But without the internet, communicating emotional opinions and information would be limited. Cancel culture would still most likely exist with television, but wouldn't usually gain as much traction like they do on the internet. Trends would most likely be longer and hopefully make sense. And maybe just like in the 90s, people would have their opinions and respect others' opinions. And you wouldn't be hearing from annoying people like the vegan teacher. Because social media does not exist without the internet, there would also be no world leaders using Twitter. Because of this, people like Donald Trump could possibly not even be elected at all. Let's say theoretically that Trump was not elected. This would mean many things. First, who would be the president between 2016 and 2020? Would it be Hillary Clinton? And would the election outcome between Trump and Biden in the 2021 presidential election be different? And how? It's no secret that Trump loves using Twitter. It's his go-to tool. But what would he be without it? Most adults already have the app, and as the President of the United States, he reaches far and wide to not only the everyday American, but an everyday person all around the globe. But without Twitter, he wouldn't have as far as a reach, so maybe there wouldn't be as much hate. And with that, we have now concluded our video. I would like to thank everyone for watching today, and please like and subscribe if you would like to see more content. I'd like to thank ItsPopstick for helping me out with this video today, and thank you for finishing the video.